Up to where you guys are like comfortable. Hello, up to where you guys are comfortable. Like this was the starting of week 3. So we started with MongoDB like CRUD operations. Okay, not MongoDB CRUD operations. I think they were on the memory, where we were storing the data in our in-memory arrays and objects. So up to here, I think you guys have completed, right? Hello. Up to here, is it done, or like should I say it again, like how to create like API or the node package again from starting?
Done.
Done, right? So okay. So this is completed. Now second is proper structure, where the same code is there, where you have like first of all, okay, I will say it like as a revision only. Backend basics. So what backend does is like it has HTTP server, it collects the request and then it sends that request to API, and API handles that. Also our server gets like it is connected to the database, so whatever the things need to be retrieved from the database, so one request will be going to the database server, and what do you say, the protocol between like your backend, the client and server is HTTP protocol, and the protocol between the server and the database server, that depends on the database. For example, MongoDB has MongoDB data like protocol, and Oracle or MySQL will be having some different. For example, Oracle or SQL will be having MySQL, like that. Okay, so how we can create our backend application from scratch is we have to first generate the package.json file using this command, and then we have to like create a server. After setting up the backend, like now package.json file, we have to like set up few things. I'll just show you here. For example, when we create or the execute that command, which is package npm init -y, only this file will be created. After that, what we have to do is we have to set up few things. One is like type will be our module, so that we can follow the latest things, and then this thing will be added afterwards when we install some packages. Then we have to again change this thing. By default here index.js will be there. Okay, so we have to give it to server only because we are thinking that server.js is more meaningful. If you want to go ahead with index.js, that is also fine. Okay, now coming to dependencies, for now whatever we have used, our main dependency is Express, and node.mon is for like, for example, when you are working with like assignments on JavaScript, you are directly using node to compile that file or execute that file. But here what we are doing is we are designing our backend server, so we have to continuously edit the files and all. So again and again we can't do like starting of the server, right? And we have to edit the file like continuously. So for that we have a package from node, which is node.mon. What it does is whenever you make any changes, it will be like watching like continuously. Whenever there is a change, it will refresh the server just by like whatever has changed, it will refresh it. Okay, so after that what we have to do is we have to create this server.js file. Okay, so after creating the server.js file, we have to first, okay, I will not in this, I will say in this so that we'll have complete understanding. Here more comments are there. So we have to create HTTP server first. For that, first we will import our Express. There is an older version also where, or I can say in a better way, where we have given the type as module. That is why we are able to import the Express in this form. Otherwise, there is one more thing, which is like a const express or exp is equals to require, and then we can mention here Express, like that. But this is an older thing where like we have to give in this format. We are following the module type, so we can import in this form, and this is the latest one, so we have to follow this only. Then we are creating the server using this simple command. Okay, then what we are doing is whatever the server is there, they will run on a like some port, right? So we are assigning a port to the server that okay, app is our server, and then it is listening to port this, and this is a callback function which is returning after, which is returning here, like as soon as this is called. So callback function is here. So when the server starts, it will return like if the server starts successfully, it will print in the console that HTTP server has started or listening to the port this. After that, what we are doing is okay, these are not required right now. Okay, this once check it out. I think you are comfortable with this, right? Why we are using body parser, or should I say it again? Let me know.
We are comfortable.
Okay, then body parser we are using, and right now what we are doing is this is in memory space we are using to do the CRUD operations. These are the roots slash users like post request, get request, and all, and this is put request, and again get by ID and all. I think you guys are comfortable with this, so I'm not going deep into it. Okay, so after this, you guys are comfortable with these CRUD operations on in memory space, right?
Yes,
On
yes.
yeah. So now we'll move to MongoDB. In this, yeah, this is also same only. Now we'll move to database starting. Okay, from here. So what is MongoDB? It is a NoSQL database or NoSQL based database. Okay. So how we are going to store the data in MongoDB is in the form of like similar to JavaScript object only. Okay. So here we have. Okay. So if you remember, like whenever we used to, okay, I will just start MongoDB also. Whenever we used to create like when we were using MySQL server, like we used to create those things like creating the database first and creating the table. After creating the table, we can insert the data. So similar to that only, we have MongoDB also. In this, we have like collections. Then we have first we have database, then inside the database we have some collections, and inside the collection we have documents. Okay, and in the document we have like data in form of like field and value or key value pair. Okay, so what we do is there are like these commands which you have to understand, then you are like good to go with the database also. Okay, so first is like how to create a database. This is the command to create the database. Okay, we can check it here also. Okay. So this is a command for creating a database. Okay, this command switches to the specified database. If the database doesn't exist, it will create when you insert the data. So for example, in MySQL and all, we have to like create the database manually, right? And if that is not there, and if for example we are inserting into that, that will lead to an error. Or if we are trying to use the database, there is a command right in the MySQL also, use database. If the database doesn't exist, then it will lead to an error. But here, what it does is it will if the database exists, then it will switch to that database. Otherwise, it will create the database. Okay. Show database is like you can understand that it will show all the databases, and then create collection, which is similar to the table, which we can call like relate to MySQL, but it is not in the form of table. Okay. So db.create collection. This is a what is the syntax of this command, where this is the main thing, and here we are giving the collection name. Okay. Then show collection is similar to the show databases. Then create document. As I told that we have what do you say, in collection we have documents, so we have to create documents to store the data. So db.collection name dot insert. So again, whenever we have to insert the data into the database, we have two things. One is insert one or insert many. Okay. So this is the syntax for insert one, and this is a syntax for insert many. Okay. So we'll see this again. You guys are there when these commands are going on.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, then no need to go into that as well. So to read the data we are trying to retrieve, so we again have find and find one. Okay, find will give all the data, and then find one will give one. Okay, single document, and here all documents specify according to the condition we can specify. Okay, then update the data, update one and update many, again same, then delete one, delete many. Okay, then these are basic commands, and to like go ahead with the what is a real world scenario, we have to use some operators as well. For that we have these kind of operators, which is dollar, we have to specify, then the operator. So here we have eq, which is equal, not equal, greater than, equal to, these kind of things. Once read this. Okay, and these two are like something which I had some doubt about them. So in is particularly checking like what is it? For example, if you have an array, so we'll show you an example only, that is better. We'll cover this thing. Okay, then query embedded. Okay, if for example, in real world scenario, most of the data is in the form of what do you say? It is very unstructured data, and we have nested data available in the like in the document also. There is a nested document. So how to deal with that kind of document? In this format, we have to do like how we are going to retrieve the data and change the data. We have to learn about that as well. So one example of the nested data is like this is your main document, and in that one is key value, where is this, and the other one is this, where the key is embedded doc, and then the value is again a document, or you can say object as well. Okay, so you can see what is the difference between this in and all. So okay, here all the commands were collapsed. I will show you later. Okay, then in this way we have to modify. Okay, here we'll go, and we'll connect to the local host, and sure, I think this was done, but only that in and all I will show, so that it will be better. Okay, in is here, all is here. Yeah, this is what I have to show. So we'll use the unwrap db, so because already I think data is there, so switch to that, and we'll see if db dot what is our collection name. I forgot, I think users dot find. Let's see if we have some data or not. So we have some data over here, you can see. So let's run a query, which was our inquiry. So where is that? Okay, this was our query where we were doing if the employee has like has a skill called as JavaScript or not. So this we were trying to do with two things, which is in and all. So let's try with in first. First I have to see if employee is there in this. Wait a second, okay, we have employee also. So let's check what is there in employees. So okay, in employee also we have one employee whose number is this, name is given, address, and skills. You can see. So what we are doing is using the in property, we are trying to find if there is any employee who has these skills or not. So let's try to write that. So db dot employees dot find one. Now what we are doing is we have to see if this skill has these properties or not. So whenever we write find or find one, we have to give these two things. I think yeah, not two, one only. Okay. So I think that is in update. Okay. So we have to check if skill is dollar in, then we have to see this. Okay, we are giving an array again to check multiple skills, or we can give one also. So let's say give JavaScript. So why is that error? Find one. This is opening here. Again one opening. This okay, one did not get closed. You can see null over here. Why is that null? Why is that null? I can even say. I'll just show the data. db dot find. You can see right here skills. There is no one who like there is no skill called as JavaScript. So let's try again that same thing. Okay. We'll give React. Now you can see that right. We have a skill called as React, and okay, JavaScript was not there. That is why. And the same thing we can try with. Let's say try with Node.js. Again the same thing has come. For example, if you have to without using in operator, if you have to like check if the thing is present or not present, what we can do is how we use to compare. For example, skills is React. So I am expecting a null value here, but I'm getting this. Why? Because this is the first one already present. Okay. If I give this also, for example, I'm giving multiple things. Let's say React, then Angular, then Node.js. You can see we are able to get it, but I'll just manipulate this a little bit. Put React here. You can see null over here because it was completely like here. This was exactly same as this. So it was comparing directly an object to an object or array to an array. Okay, because in JavaScript array is also an object, so I'm saying array like object. But you can see like it was comparing directly this to this one. But here we change the what do you say? Angular coming first here, but here Angular was in the second place, and we changed the order actually. So for that, what we are doing is instead of using in, like in is also like valid here, where we can use in. So you can see, okay. So in is giving this, and for with in only we can use multiple things. One is let's Angular also. You can see it is here, and there is one more method which is and. For example, instead of in, we are giving all. So using all, we can compare. You can see this, and if I give the Angular and Node are they following like this, okay. So we have to check if we are not following the order, then how it works, okay. So let's check this and all Angular, then I'm putting React so that it is not following order. You can see still we are getting the data. So using all also we can perform that. What I understood from some of the example is the in property works like or operator, and all works for like what do you say, and operator. For example, let's give one query here where I'm also adding JavaScript. Okay, even I have no idea what is going to be the output, but I'm having an like expectation what would it be. But in and all, both I have some expectation. Let's see, I'm expecting null here. So you can see null is there. I will put the same thing, but I will just change the operator here in. You can see here, right? The difference you can now see because it is checking for each and everything, and it results in the like what is it true if any one of them satisfy the condition. Okay, but that is one important thing. Now modifying the data, you can see like the command is here db.emps.update one, the employee which has the EMP name or EMP number which is 100. Now we are setting it to the setting the name to Ravi Kumar. So it is you can also see the result over here or the output over here. This is one important thing which anyone can ask, like what is the output of update or update one, like that. So it gives acknowledgement, then insert ID, then match count and modified count. Okay, so similar to that, now we'll again see one more thing. You can see we have updated this, set it, we are setting up the address.street. For example, here you can see address is again a nested document, right? Here, so we are changing the address.street here, street from already there is some street. You can see here street is not here also. Okay, street is not here. We are trying to add the street into the document. So update will work for insertion also and updation also. Okay, so you can see here we are doing the insertion operation. So you can see again we have acknowledgement and all, and you will be able to see like street now. Here you can see the data. Address has one property which is street now. Now again we'll see what is the next thing. Now city, if we have to change, then again similar to that. For example, here street was not there, then it added it, but city was there. Now it has just updated it, not added the new property. Okay, deleting the document next concept is so now for deleting also, like we are trying to use this update one function. Again we were using set here, now we are using unset here, and we are giving the name to an empty string so that it will be like removed from that. So you can see here acknowledgement and match count and modified count. Now if you again see that our object was this Ravi Kumar, and now we are just trying to remove this name from there. You can see name is here present. Now we'll check after this what happens. So again I have done find, and now you can see in this object name is not there. Now what we are doing, again pin code is there, how to delete this also. So again we have set the condition as 100, and now unset the address.pin code, and we are giving it as empty. So you can see now pin code is removed from here. Okay, now what is next? Okay, it has again you can see I've added the name, or just change the name to first name. Like for example, name was not here to say it correctly, like we have added the name or first name. So you can see first name has been added. Now array operations, we have already seen these things in our JavaScript. So push is for adding the element at the end, and then pop is to remove the element. Add to set is like it will check if the number is already present in the array or not. It is similar to the set. Okay, so add to set will check if the number or the value which we are adding to the array is unique or not. Then only if the value is unique, then only it is going to add. Push and each, the combination of that, if we have to add the multiple values, then we will try to use this. Pull is for removing all instance of the specified value, multiple values you can say, or pull all is to remove all instance of multiple values from an array. Okay, now update one again, and we are pushing skill as Angular. Okay, here you can see that in the skills we have these skills. Now we are trying to add the new skill which is Angular, and now it will look like, let's see where is, okay, one mistake what I have done here is you can see the name of this field is skill, and I have added the Angular to skills property. So what update is going to do is it will check if skills is present or not, and it is not present, so it will create it. So you can see here skill is same only, and now we have got one more, and now Angular has been added to that. So what I have done is again I have added this to skill, and now skill I have removed it. Now again if you see Angular has been added to skill, and that skills what was created unintentionally, that has been removed. Now add to set is already Angular is present. What it is going to do is it will see that okay match is there, but it is not modifying it because it is not unique. Okay, now what we are doing here is push and each combination. Okay, let's see if we can utilize it here. Okay, we are adding Node.js and Java. Let's see if Node.js and Java is there or not. Node.js is there, Java is not there. I think we removed it. So we'll try to add these things here in our MongoDB. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are adding here one object. So db.emp.update one. Now what we are updating, first we'll write like this. Here condition has to come. So we are trying to find an employee who has employee number as 100. Okay, now what we are trying to do is we are trying to like add the property, or you can see here push the property to the array. So we have to use $push. Now here we can, for example, we have to push something, then what we can do is we can give here directly value like name as some value, but what we are doing is we are inserting some multiple like data. So we are here using like the combination of for push and each will iterate through whatever the values we have given, and it will add those things. Okay, so push, okay, here this is resulting in error. So what I'll do is first we have to mention in which array or like document we have to add it. So we have this document, and in this we have to add into this field. So we'll just select skill, and now what we have to do is we have to push, and push what, let's say what we can push, I'm giving here JavaScript. to insert a single thing. Let's see if we have like wrote the correct syntax or not. Let's see what is the mistake. Unexpected token. Okay. Okay, got it. I think that this is a mistake what I have done. Okay, now pushing JavaScript. One is not closed. This one opened here and it got closed here. This got opened here. This got opened here and closed, but the previous one was not open only, so you have to close this. Okay. Update document requires atomic operator. What does that mean? We are pushing. Okay. So I have inserted push here instead of here, so I have to change that. So these things we have to like remember only, then only we can understand. Syntax is different here. Skill name we are pushing this. Now it has managed and modified. We'll check what are the skills we have now. db dot employees dot find. Okay. Now JavaScript has been added. Now if I want to add multiple things, then what should I do? So similar to this, we are doing here. We have done this. I hope I have not done any mistake while erasing this. Yeah. Push and then dollar each dollar each skill, and I have to insert what Java C++. Let's check if that is correct. Dollar each and skill as these things. What is dollar each in not allowed in the context of updating replacement. Why? Okay. So dollar each we have specified outside. Again, the same mistake I have committed. Here skill should come skill, and here each. Here the logic can be like skills we have given, and now to iterate on this array we have to specify this each. Now if we again see fine, you can see Java and C++ has been added. So this is how we are adding multiple. Now what we are doing is, let's see, these are same only. It's working off pop operator. So you can see modified, and what we are popping skill one. Okay, what it will do, let's see. We have in skills we have these many. So one means I think from last maybe. So I think it will remove Java. Yeah, it has removed Java, and then we'll do -1, then it will remove JavaScript. So you can see JavaScript has gone, and this CSS will come in front. You can see that. Then pull is like specifying what we are going to remove. Then in skills we are removing this CSS property. You can see CSS was in the front, and now it has been removed. Now next is from here. Okay, db dot create collection. These all things we have covered, I think. Insert menu, you can see the example here. We have given this and this, so it will insert into that area of object, or you can say MongoDB object. Now what we are doing here, find one. Again we are just find one without condition means it will return the first value, whatever is there in the database of that collection. So again there is nothing new here. Yeah, so this module has been completed. Is there any doubt?
No.
Okay. So okay, and you can see a proper structure also now, right? You have to create like your user API and product API into this particular folder, which is API, so that we are following a proper structure. If anyone opens our folder, they can like see what we are doing. So as I told here, now we'll go to this one. Okay, so we'll now go for REST API. Okay, this is the full form, you can see. Okay, so before that, whatever is covered in this one, like whenever we are making a server.js file, we are creating a HTTP service, and we are like making an Express application basically. And here also, if you see, we have to like we are importing this, but we are not creating again an Express application. We are again like using like what to say, and we are using, instead of app, we are using product app. And this is Express.router. What it does is it will create a new mini Express application, you can say. Okay, I have noted here also, you can see mini Express application, or you can say separate route also. Okay, so that is one important point. Now we'll come to this. Okay, again our process is same only. We are setting up the backend, assigning the port. Now what we do is we have to like, we are like comfortable with Java like MongoDB CRUD operations, right? Also now what we were doing the CRUD operations using like MongoDB shell, now we have to do the same things using our server, or you can say Express application. So to connect that, we use a package, or you say ODM, which is object document mapper, to connect with like server to our MongoDB server. So we use this mongoose package. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to use this npm install mongoose, and it will install that. Then we'll just create a schema model, and then use the model to perform the CRUD operation. So this is, I hope you are comfortable with. Like you were present in this part, A, B, C, up to where you were present.
Last was array update operators.
Last was completed.
So like push pop and that were completed. From there we were not there.
Okay, so schema design you know, and model design. Schema
No,
and
from this all for this all we were not there.
okay, so from here, completely from here you are new, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what we do is we create or first we install mongoose in our server, similar to how we were installing Express. Okay, so what I will do is using these commands or instructions, will create the API here. Okay, now you can see we have to first install mongoose and then create the schema. So we have here, like you can see, first what we used to do is we here completely, it is completely a new setup, right? So we'll go from scratch here. Control J. What we are doing is npm init -y. you can see it has been generated. Now you can see here index, so you can just say server, and here you can see type is not there in my file. So in my file, like every time I have to specify this common or module, so we can choose module. So we are good to go now. And now what we have to do is we have to make server.js. So before starting here, we have to install our main thing, which is Express, npmi Express. Okay, now we are in this thing. Okay, so we are going to make the same thing here again. Okay, so what we are doing is we are creating the http server. So let's say we are importing first Express. These things we'll make first and then we'll import them. Okay, so these are the three things I think we have to cover. First, this one will be installed with the mongoose only. So let's install mongoose here only. So similar to how we did Express, we have to do mongoose also. And then import Express. Express. Let's say const app equals to Express. Okay. Now what we are doing is, now onwards we have to like connect to database also. Okay, so for that we have this function which is connecting to database. Okay, so you can see you are aware about async and await, right, for dealing with our asynchronous operations. Okay, so why we are making this function as async is database connection is asynchronous operation. Okay, so whenever like we don't know what is happening at the server, right, how much time it is going to take, so for that we use async and await. Okay, so async function connect db, and before that we can assign a port. Const port is equals to, let's say, 4000, so that we can use the same file from there, like the request.http file, to check. Now what we are doing is we are assigning, you see this thing, this is how we used to, like what it is going to do is whenever we connect to the database, like it will you see here, it will return a promise. You can see here, right? So what we do with the promise is we have to consume the promise as it is getting returned. So whenever we try to connect to that like MongoDB server, that connection will return a promise to us, so we have to consume that promise. So you can just show you here, we have to install this connect, not install, import. So let's import this from mongoose. So from mongoose, now you can check what are the things available. You can see, so we are using connect. So what happens is await connect. Now we have to give the URI or URL where we have to connect. You can see here, connect and then URL. This is the URL. Okay, why MongoDB is there? Can anyone answer this question? This local host. Why we are writing MongoDB in here?
Database name, because we are connecting to MongoDB database.
Okay. Before this, what was there, like initially when we were connecting to anywhere else?
Initially, we have HTTP connection, so that is why we have written HTTP.
Yeah, that's correct. So as I mentioned earlier also, like whenever we connect from like server to client, then HTTP protocol is used, and whenever like our server is dealing with our database server, then it has to like go through a different protocol which is dependent on the database. Okay, and also to handle some issues we use a try catch block. Okay, for example, this URL or this port number, this is the port number on which our MongoDB is running. Okay, and this is our database. So now I'm trying to utilize this database, which is MongoDB2. Okay, so for example, if the database is not there, then it will create it. That is like we don't need to like care about that thing. So you can see here we have this try catch block here. Okay, so if this gets connected, then we can print something here. Log database connected successfully. Now what we can do is catch error and log our error connecting to DB. Okay, now we just do this listen to port, and then a callback function server started, or listening to port, let's say 4000. Why I'm writing manually is we are not directly doing this. If we have to do this, that's I will tell, but what we can do is we can use this. If we do this thing, I think it will be available here. Okay, so let's see if we are able to do this. First, I'm using node server.js. Let's see if it is working or not. We have not got any kind of response still. What is the issue? Okay, we have given this, but we are not logging it. You can see console.log is not there. So now let's try again. What happened now? Console.log. Expected this, but where?
You have opened a console.log brackets and you didn't close.
Okay. It was closed only, right? Okay, got it.
Try when you remove that bracket.
Not that. This is the issue. Now you can see this has started successfully. Now onwards, I will be using node1. Okay, so node1 server. So you can see watching your file now. As soon as we update something, port that you can see now. You can see update here. Okay, now we have created this function to connect with database, but we have not called this. Let's call this function. Let's see if we have written it completely or not. Or is it a correct function or not? Let's see. URI parameter to open URI. You can see there is an error here. New Mongo. Okay, so you can see there is some issue. Okay, connect is not defined, right? First, let's call the correct function. Then see what is the mistake. Okay, database connected successfully. Now, for example, if I change this port number, now again, let's see. It will now it is not logging it. You can see it is waiting. It is trying again and again before logging this. So here our cursor or whatever the execution has stopped, or it is waiting state. Okay, it is in waiting state still. Why? Because it is trying again and again to connect with the database, but the database is not able to get connected with the server. Now you can see from that time it is trying. Now you can see error connecting to database. Why? Because we have changed this port number. So that is the reason. Now you see directly in 1 second, less than 1 second, it has printed it. Okay. Now, for example, you can see in this one, our server started, but we were not able to connect to database. For example, if you open your Instagram, if the server has started, now you will be able to open it and do something, but you will not be able to like see any kind of post. You will not be able to see your followers or your images, anything, because database is not connected, right? That is the issue, right? Like we can't connect to the server without connecting to database. So that is a big thing, because it is not useful in starting a server without having the data what the client is going to see. So what we do is in this try block only, if we are successfully connecting to the database, then only we are going to connect to our server. So I have this completed here. Now you can see. Now if I give a wrong, you can see from here one thing, server has started first, then database got connected. Now you see database connected, then server has started. Okay, so that is the difference. Now for example, if I give wrong port, now you see there is nothing, like server has not started. First it will try for database. If database is not getting like connected, server will not start only. Let's see what will be the output. It is trying. Okay, so error, clean exit, waiting for changes. So server did not start. So that is what important thing we have covered now. So you can see try and catch is done. Now one thing is middleware. I think you are comfortable with middlewares already. So, and one more thing, I'll just copy this thing, these things, so that I need not to write this thing. Request dot http, so that we can request it directly. Okay. For example, okay, this is not there, and we don't have any kind of APIs over here or routes over here. So what we will do is app dot use. What we are going to do is, let's say express dot JSON first. This is our body parser, which you have here. Okay, also you can see the body parser is on the top. Okay, why? If I write this thing here, look, we have these two things also. For example, if I write this one here, then first it will use these middlewares, then the execution will come to this middleware. But this is very important middleware, where we have to pass the data coming from database, or like wherever it could be, like the data comes to the server in terms of JSON, but our file is with JavaScript. It doesn't understand JSON. It has to be converted into JavaScript object. That is why it has to be the first, whatever the request comes first, this will take that request and then handle it with the help of like JSON thing, and it will convert into the JavaScript object. Okay, now what we have given is, there is an user API and product API. So what using that we can understand that we have to create APIs separately. Now we will have a folder which is called as APIs, and in that we have to create, let's say, user API, Node.js, and product API. Okay, also whenever before this we'll do this thing. Before creating the APIs, we'll create a schema, okay, and model. So what is schema? Like you are aware about it, right? So schema is basically the blueprint of database, or you say blueprint of overall structure, how the data has to be present. For that we use models folder, and then we create, let's say, user model and then product model. So what we have to do here, so you can see that what are the properties that are going to be there in my like user. For example, there is a user, what are the properties that the user should have? For example, a user should have username, age, address, something like that. So we have to define before like using the database. For example, you already have visualized how it is going to store, so that is what we are doing in models. You can see for that we need these two things from mongoose, which is schema and model only. So we already have our mongoose ready, so we can just mongoose, we can install schema and model. Now what we'll do is first, let's user, or you can say user schema is equal to new schema. Okay, now we have to define our schema over this. So this is the first schema. We can also use like this for like product model also. I will just show you the how we have to do user schema, then product you can do on your own in the like night time. Okay, so let's create our user schema. So we have our username, so here we will write field name, username. Now again one object will be there. In that what we have to specify, what will be the type of username is what? String. Okay, because we can write characters and all, right? Then it could be like min length. What would be the minimum length? It takes like, you can specify an array. What you say, let's say it's 4 or 3, and then the next is, if it is not 3, then what is the thing that is going to return, or like throw an exception or something like that. It is just a message type of thing. If we are entering an invalid username, then this message will be printed instead of a big error, right? So username should be of minimum size of 3, let's say. Okay, and we can also specify max length. I'm not putting the max length over here because let's say user can enter any number of characters. Here I have entered max length also, and also there is a thing called as required. Okay, that we can specify as true, I think. Yeah, true, and same username is required. You can say, oh, I'll just copy. Username is required. Okay, now similar to that you can have age and all. You can say password age. Okay, so I'll just copy these things from here. How should I write it for you? Let's copy only, let's save the time. Okay, so now you can see we have password of type string, and this is also required. We want to capture the age of the user, so it is of type number, and this is also required. The minimum age of the user what we are going to validate is 18, and the maximum is 25. Now here after this what we are doing is checking like strict. This is for some cases where it is checking like strictly or not. So what we are going to say is check strictly and then throw. Okay, and then it is saying timestamp. What timestamp is going to do is, I will show you with an example. In our MongoDB, if I can show you this with example. Okay, MongoDB users. You can see these are the two things. Okay, these are looking very similar. Then after that, I modified like here timestamps, and then using this, you can see created it and updated it. Okay, these two things will be updated or like you can say automatically created in your data. As soon as you create the data, it will like Mongoose will take care of these things, and these two will be created automatically. Created is basically when you created this object, and updated is like the last time when you updated it. When you are creating the data for the first time, these will be same, and created will be same only throughout whenever up to when the data is not deleted, and the updated is what it will frequently change depending on whenever you change the data, it will change. Okay, but created will be same only. Okay, so that is what we are saying here. So up to here it is completed. Okay. Now what our model does is it will create the model using your mongoose, and it will create a model here and with the name user, and it will follow this schema. So what is here is now we create the model and export it so that we can directly use the model in our application. Okay. So let's say export. This is what we are doing as named export. What we are doing is we are creating a model, which is the naming convention is important here. We are giving u as capital. You can see const user model, which is new model, and we are giving user here, and then we are following user schema. Okay, this thing you can observe I've given only user, not, and also I'll just stop this one so that it will not update again and again. You can see user here. Now what it does is it will go to the MongoDB or MongoDB database, and then it will create a like collection which is users, not user. For example, here user is there, then users is going to be created. Now for example, here emp is there and emps will be updated. You tell me what will be there if this is there. Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
So for example, I said here user I have given. Now it will go to MongoDB and it will create a collection called as users. Okay, whatever is here, it will pluralize. Okay, it will convert into plural form and it will create a collection. Now, for example, I have given child. What will be there?
Children.
Yeah, not children, sorry, like it will create children as well. Like what I thought initially was it will create child's okay, but that is not the truth. Sir told that Mongoose is smart enough, it can convert into plural. Okay, so children will be created. Okay, now we are giving always try to give a singular form like user product, so that if I give product here, then products will be created. Okay, now we have exported this. Now it is ready for importing. Okay, now you see here. This one I'm commenting. I'm leaving it to you so that you can create this. We'll create this one. Okay. Now we'll use this model in our API, user API. Now what I have to do is I have to create the mini Express application. So import Express from Express. Okay. Now what we are doing is const user app equals to express dot router. We have created the mini Express or separate route application here. What I'm saying in the server is whenever some URL starts with like slash user API, then just go to this user app or use this user app. Where we are creating this user app is user API. You can see user app is here. Now we are going to deal after this. For example, slash user API, then slash users. Now we have to create and handle this slash user, because up to here our already server.js file is redirecting this thing to our user app, and from here we have to handle after this slash. Okay, so we have to create that thing. So you can see in the APIs we should create this first and then handle our these things. Okay, so how we do in the earlier time also we have done that. We were using app dot get and all. Now what app is not here, so we have user app dot get slash users, and then what should come? Request response callback function. Now what we have to do? Initially we were having this kind of thing. Let users equals to this, and with this we were able to get the data. Okay, now we have to fetch the data from MongoDB. Okay, for that we can't directly use this, right? We have to get the data from MongoDB. So how we will do is, for that only we have created this model, which is user model. We have to import this model here. How we do it? Import something from where? We have to find the path from models slash user model. Now what we need is user model. Okay, or you can check what is it giving also. You can see user model is provided by this. Now all the things whatever we need from our MongoDB in this collection, which is Mongo or like users, we are going to retrieve using this model only. Let's say data. Let data is equal to, let's say user model dot find or find. You have to check like the syntax again. Okay, this is the same syntax. User model dot find. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are collecting this list from the database. So let's start our node model. So let's see. User app is not defined. Okay, and let me first give something as a response. Not response, not status. Let's say 200, and then we are providing a JSON, which is message is on users, and we are giving a payload as data. Okay, so from here it is ready. Now let's say model server.js. We have to import something from API slash user API.js. So our user app is present in this. We can directly write user app, or we can what we can do is control space. It will show you what are the things you can take from this user app. Just take it, and now it should go. Let me start again. App has been crashed again. Let's see what is the issue. Okay, we are not able to import this. You can see here we have our user app. Where is this? Our user app is here. We are importing that, but we are not exporting from here. How can we import it? So let's just keep export. Now whenever I press control space, user app is here. So it's now it has started, but let me start it again with a clear screen so that you can see the difference. Database connected, server connected successfully. So our database has been connected and the server has also been connected. This is the API which we have created just now. Is it correct, right? Now I'll just send a request here. What is this? Converting server JSON. Okay. Why is this coming? Let's go to our API here. Okay. Up to here, it is correct because whenever we are sending a request, it is going to correct thing, like correct destination. Why it is doing is, I told you that whenever we are dealing with any kind of database operations, these are asynchronous time-taking operations. For that, we have asynchronous, like handling of asynchronous things in our asynchronous JavaScript. We learned, right? What we have to do is, this is a function, a callback function. We have to make this function as an asynchronous function. For that, I will just add async. Okay. Now let me make the request again. Okay. You can see it has been connected successfully. Now I'm making connections, and it is giving me the same response. Why? Okay, we have created this as a asynchronous function. But where are we waiting for it to complete? We are trying to find the users, and now you can see, right? Whenever we are executing a file from top to bottom, in within like a fraction of seconds, one line to next line, it will go, right? Here it will go to find, and then in the next moment only, the cursor will move, or the execution cursor will move to next line. It will not wait for it. But what we have to do is we have to wait for it. So we will just say await for me to get completed and take out the complete data. Now let's try again. Now there should not be any issue. You can see now it has given me all the data which was present here. To verify if this is the data present in the users, let's go to our MongoDB and check this is the data. Okay, let's create a new API and then we'll wind it off. Okay, other APIs you can create. Okay, we'll create this post API. Okay, so let's see. This is also same users, but we are going to give the content in terms of JSON. Okay, so let's go to our user API. Okay, same user app dot post, where we have to post slash users may we have to post. And what we have to do is we have to, by default, whenever you are dealing now with any kind of database operations, first only you just keep async and then create your callback function. Then first what you do is you have to collect or retrieve or extract, collect or retrieve or extract the data coming in the request. Whatever the data is coming in the request from here, we have to get that data first. Okay, where is this? I will just close whatever is not useful now. This user model we have completed. Now it is not useful to like just open it. Server.js is not used now. Request is open. Product is not. Okay. So these two files are there. So what we will do is let let's say given data, or given data which we are going to retrieve from request.body, and you can just say console.log given data to verify if we are able to get the data or not. Okay. So you check here. I'm going to see the data is, you see Suman age is 21. I'm just, you can see here I'm getting the data. So up to here it is done. Now what should I do with this data? We have to push that data or insert that data into our database. Let's see if someone is there or not. Okay, someone is not here. So let's push that data into our database. So how we have to do is, again, our user model is going to help us. Okay, so let's see that what is the syntax for pushing. So you can see find by ID is there to find, and for pushing, just we need to get user model. And if we create a new model in Java, whenever, for example, we have to create a scanner object, how we would do is scanner equals to new scanner, like that, right? So what we will do is we will create a new model for our given data. Okay, that is what we are doing here. Let new user doc, or let new user doc, or document, you can say new user document, which we are going to create using this. Let's say given new, let's say user model. Create this model for our given data. Now what it will do is user model dot save, user model save new user document. You can just hover over it and you can see what it does. Okay, it is not giving, but okay. So what it does is it is going to save the data. Okay, and we have to write this await. Okay, just copy this response, and paste it, and write await here. Await. Okay. Again, let's make this request, and you can see our database. I'm just refreshing in front of you. There is no user called as Suman. We'll just do this. What is there? User model.save is not a function. Why? Why is it not a function? We are using it, right? Not save. Okay. Okay. Got it. You can see we have already created this document. Now we have to save this document, not user model. New user doc dot save. Now it should get executed. Error. Why is this an error? Okay, I have executed post and the product, not in this. User created. Now let's go to our MongoDB. You can see here, and also one difference you can see here is this created at and updated at, because we mentioned the timestamp as true. Okay, so that is the reason why it is coming here. Let's do an experiment here. I don't know how it is going to do, but how can we do this thing without creating a new model? Can we do it? Update and user model dot something should be there, right? Dot find is there, post, let's say post. and given that something should be there if we want to directly post is not there. So I was just trying to experiment with this thing if we can directly do this thing. Okay, so we have to create this new document only. Okay, with this we can do this. I don't know if I tried it earlier. Okay, create a new document only is the way. Okay, now next is like put request, which is similar, only you have to get the ID, then take the modified user, and here you have to use those operators which we learned in the MongoDB. So what we are doing is find ID. So our user model is going to provide this thing, like very easy to do things, like it will find by ID and then update also. So how it will do is, it will check on the given ID, whatever the ID is there, it will check or find, then set. What set will do is, it will update as the new user, new modified user, whatever the data we are giving, it will save that. And newest to is, it will return like the newest or the updated version of that user. Okay, and also one more important property as run validator. If that is not there, then you remember here, right, in the user model we have mentioned here, in the user model we have mentioned the age as the 18 to 25. So what most of the people do is, while creating the user, let's say my age is 21, then they will update the user and keep the user as 14 or 17. Okay, which leads to like an failure in the application, right? Because our legal age to use our application is 17, like 18 to 25, but a user of age 17 first initially enters 21 and enters to the application, afterwards just updates the age to 17. So that is not a good thing. So what our run validator does is, if that this is not there, then we can update the thing in afterwards, and this checking will not happen in the updation. But if we do run validators is true, then while updating also the validators, means these rules will be affected and they will check each and everything. Okay, and then delete is similar, just get the data and find by ID and then delete it. Very simple. Okay, similarly you have to develop your product API, which is very similar, you can do this. Okay, so that's the thing which sir discussed, and also sir has posted this drive, so I was checking if I have covered all the things. I'll just once check. Okay, logical operator and or not option, and okay, use document not update this, reading from array single element comparison. You can just go through this, and most of the things we have already covered. Okay, I think these are the tasks that sir has given maybe. Okay, so just go through them and try on your own. Is there any doubt that you have that you can ask now? Like, were you able to understand?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, got it. So now the session is completed. Hopefully it was fine only. Okay,
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
no problem. Bye. Anyone wants to like
Thank
ask
you.
anything, please let me know. Then we'll wind it off.